basically it's a 3D printer where as many parts as possible are printed by the machine. The first one that we made, obviously we had to buy the parts from someone else because it's a bit chicken and egg. If you don't have a printer, how do you make the parts for a printer? So we actually got those off eBay a couple of years ago, and since then we've made several machines by printing the parts off on the one we've made and putting together. And we've got a whole family tree now. We've got parents and grandparents and siblings and yeah. There's two main plastics that RepRap uses. One is ABS, which is the stuff that Lego is made out of. It's a kind of petrochemical plastic, and the other one that we use is PLA, which is polylactic acid, so it's cornstarch based. It's really amazing, and the enthusiasm is kind of infectious. You print something and immediately you're thinking, how can I improve it? How, or even as you're building the machine, how can I make this part a bit better? So it's very engaging.
Well, that depends on the quality of the print. I mean, we make profit.
It's like I would have to remember before we had really colour photocopying, or certainly you didn't have a printer in your own home, and it transformed everybody's workflow because you could just print stuff out straight away. I think this is going to do exactly the same thing. Possibly you won't have one in every home, but you'll have, like you used to have colour photocopiers on most street corners, you'll have 3D printers, or possibly the colour photo shops will start stocking 3D printers and you'll just go to the same place and just get 3D things.
So at one level, I think the electronics world is going to see a big shift, and the ability to make custom devices easily, cost-effectively, satisfies a need for individuality that the previous century of you can have it any colour as long as it's black, to paraphrase Henry Ford and his Model T. I think that demand is there, and it can be realised by people making their own devices, their own objects, etc. And I see some similarities now between the early days of the internet and the early days of 3D printing. The sort of revolutionary impacts that could have on the way people regard manufacturing. And I think it's 20 years' time we could be looking back and thinking, wow, it's a bit different now to the way it was 20 years ago.
Oh, yes. Sorted.